Welcome everybody, Steve here. Today we are talking about the rotisserie. Now, this one here, we built this one for the early 70s Chevy pickups, and then I've modified it for this 56 Ford. Now we do quite a few of them, and I just want to show you that it doesn't really take that much to build one of these to make it work and to save you a lot of money, or a lot of time and money, and the quality of work is going to go way up. Now, this is Project Gray, if you've followed along or anything like that. I just finished spraying the floor. You know, I've had to do a lot of welding underneath there. You know, if I'm laying on the ground, the quality of that welding is not going to be there. You're pushing time, you're skipping steps just to get it done. Maybe young guys, you know, you need to go through that to find out what it's like to get, you know, burned with a hot molten dingo ball from a welder. But I'm not into that anymore. I wouldn't mind just standing there and getting the job done. I got to do the roof on this. This is going to be the next thing I'm doing on this, and sanding it out. If it was up there, the quality of it wouldn't be as good as if it was tipped back so that I can see and get at it a lot easier. And it's definitely going to make my life way better. On this project, I figured that the rotisserie probably saved me about 40 hours. It saved the client 40 hours. And, you know, I know that I've mentioned it before, but now my brother's built one for his Bronco, and you've got to see that one. I was so impressed. I said, you know what, just got to show you that it's a big time saver, and it might be worth your while if you're doing a project like this. And I don't know if you could probably retrofit this to a lot of different things. I put wheels on this one, and I can wheel it outside, do some sandblasting, and I'm good. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of a overview of what we did to build it, and then we'll go take a look at the one that my brother did for his Bronco. It's cool. So we're fortunate enough to have a bunch of scraps and stuff laying around. We had this piece of pipe, and that's the key to any rotisserie, is to have, you know, something that's going to spin within something else. We had a piece of pipe, and this piece of pipe, I'm not sure what the dimensions are. Let's see. This one here is about 1 7/8 in diameter, and or out to out, and this one's about 2.5. That looks like about a skid 80. This one here is about a skid 60. Not too sure what that pipe is, but one that works good is if you use a telepost. It's a little bit bigger, but a telepost for your house, and you can make a rotisserie out of that. And this is just some angle iron. No plans here. Basically, the first thing you do is you weld up something that's going to bolt down to your floor, and then basically build yourself something that's going to pivot, get the height that you want, and then from there we've got a little bit of an adjustment one way or the other, so that you can, you know, on the Chevy, I think we have to move it forward a little bit. Can't remember now. And it's as simple as that. Got a couple bolts that hold it together, and then I have one, you know, when I spin it, and it's not that hard to spin. It's on a bolt right now, but I can sit there and move it by hand quite easily. This one here, I don't know why this truck is heavier. Probably because I've got half a bag of sand, you know, still in the back there. But this one here could be adjusted just a little bit, but that's okay. It works really well, and I don't have a hole for every little spot that I want. What I'm doing is I'm using my stand here, if you can see it, and I'll just stick that underneath, or put my jacket on it and stick it in the window, wherever I want it, and then I can just go ahead and work. So it's you know, it's still a challenging project to do, but man, I tell you, if you're gonna If you're serious about what you're doing, you're on your build, do it. It's worth every bit. Now, car stuff, I can't really comment too much. I've never ever done a rotisserie for a car. And, you know, sometimes it's, you know, they do sell cheap rotisseries for those. And if I had a rotisserie here for, you know, the ones that you buy, they're quite large. I don't need that for this cab. And it's not like we're putting a whole pickup on. So for a car, you might want to look at just purchasing one. They're not that bad. You know, I'm sure that you could probably buy one, use it a couple times, and sell it for just about what you paid for it. It's like a drywall lift. If you're doing drywall in your house, go buy a drywall lift. You'll lose 20 bucks on it, but you save your back, and you resell it. People are buying that stuff up, you know, just like that. Anyway, let's go out and take a look at the one that my brother built for his Bronco. This is the rotisserie my brother Kevin did, and this is what got me all excited about doing a video, because I just think this is awesome. All right, now this is his '69 Bronco, and you know, he's got a lot of repair to do underneath. He wants to sandblast and do all those kinds of things, and he thought it'd be worth the effort just to build a bit of a rotisserie, taking it to a whole nother level. This one here, we used just scrap stuff that we had laying around. Like, you know, for the regular guy that lives in town, probably not a project you'd want to take on if, you know, unless you got quite a few of these to build. You know, you're going into business, you want to build something. But these are, like this square tubing here was off of some implement that we had. And the metal's been laying down in the bush for years. So pulled that out. Now with this one, he had to put a hole in in the front here. He had a hole he had to repair anyway, so he just made it bigger so that he could get this piece of square tubing through. These A-frames, they're off an old hoist that I had built years ago, an overhead hoist, and the I-beam for that, no, it's not this one, it's another one. But so this bar goes all the way through, and I'll flip over to the other side and I'll show you how it's connected. But he's taking it to another level, that's for sure. Yeah, Kevin likes his redundancy. But this is actually bolted onto the, oh, I know why he did that. There's some mounts that, the body mounts need to be repaired underneath. So that's why he's got the chain there. But this whole section just bolts right on where the body mount bolts. And once again, you can see the implement red on there. So it's just a bunch of scraps. Now, do I need to build it this heavy? Probably not. You'd have to structure it a little bit different. If you're using, say, like 2x2 square tubing, you'd have to go with a fairly heavy wall. But with this stuff here, like this is just some I-beam that we had laying in the bush forever. So we just brought it out and bolted it up, and then this main structure goes all the way through. And on the end, we'll take you around, but first of all I want to show you that everything has been supported in his Bronco first before we put it on the rotisserie. You know, so we've got some angle iron there just so that it's not going to do too much. But I'll show you a little closer what we have on the pivot. So on the pivot, there's actually another piece of square tubing that goes on the inside here. But this is the same tubing that I have on the one that I have for the 56s. And basically just a bolt here. And when we built this, we weren't too sure, well, when Kevin built this, we weren't too sure how it was going to, you know, was it going to flop over? Was it going to do this or that? The weight on it is enough that, you know, it wasn't that hard to move. And he wanted to work on the underneath first. So we just drilled a hole here, and he'll drill some different holes depending on where he wants to position it. But pretty simple. Just a piece of tubing, another chunk of tubing, lots of welding. But it all comes apart when it's all done. Now this is where he was working to begin with here. And this is a support that goes underneath there. And you know, these Broncos, you buy any panel that you want. It's just amazing. And they're so popular right now. But it was rusted right out. So if you were laying underneath your Bronco having to drill out all those spot welds or grind them out, repair all this rust while you're under the ground, you would spend 3 days building this rotisserie just to get it so that you could do it standing up. And well worth the time, because now he can really do a nice job of sandblasting this when he's ready, and then we can undercoat, paint it, and get it looking really, really good. And I'm going to show you my suggestion. The big benefit of the one I have, and I just did it for this project, was put wheels on it. My Project Gray that I'm working on. And so now I can be working it with the rotisserie, wheel it outside, do some sandblasting, bring it back in. And that was always a big issue for me, because then I would have to put it back on the cart, wheel it outside, do the sandblasting. And if I'm sandblasting underneath, you know, you've seen the videos where I've got it like this, I could just stand there and actually sandblast. So with a project like this one, you know, I said, we have to be able to put some wheels on it. I had some spindles, so he was able to, you know, put a piece of square tubing and a plate, bolted the spindle up, some tires on it, and now he just uses his tractor, picks up that end, and then steers on down. That's where we do our sandblasting, is down there. So it's worked out really, really good for him. And, you know, there's not just the benefit of sandblasting, or, you know, you want to finish your welds on everything that you're working on, and plus, you know, you want to seam seal everything. When you're underneath and you're trying to do all that stuff, you're at 70%. But you know, if you're standing there doing it, you can hit her at 100 and get the job done right, and then you're going to be a lot happier. So, you know, I know this one here is a little bit overkill, you know, maybe with some of the materials that we're using, but those are materials that we have. And really, I think that if you're serious about your project and you want to do a DIY rotisserie, just use whatever's at your disposal and give her. The benefits are huge, really huge. Like I was saying on that Project Gray, you know, I probably don't know how many hours I've saved on that just by having the rotisserie. And the job turns out better, so the client's happier. So that is it. That's the whole thing with these rotisseries. I was just so impressed with what little brother did. I had to show you guys. And if this is going to work for you, don't be afraid to do it. Don't be afraid to do it. We do not do cars. We don't like cars at all. But if you do have a car, you can buy those rotisseries, and they're really not that expensive. Price of steel nowadays, you know, they may have creeped up a little bit more. But as I was mentioned before, you could buy it, use it, sell it. You know, maybe you take a couple $100 loss on it. That a couple $100 is nothing compared to what you'll save by having the rotisserie. Anyway, that's that. So, for a DIYer, I hope that, you know, you got some ideas. Maybe I've inspired you to say, you know what, I'm going to take it to the next level. Okay, until next time, and I don't know what's coming next, but stay tuned, and thanks for watching.